Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
The Long Way Around, the first in the documentary series with Ewan McGregor and Charley Boorman. I talked about the most recent series in the three-part collection of these two guys doing long motorcycle traveling things, global. This was the first one. They started in London and decided to go east through Russia and Kazakhstan and all of that huge area, and then fly over to Alaska and then go through Canada and the U.S. to New York. And so riding motorcycles around the world. Now, in the first one, they used electric motorcycles. This one was not. This one was, it was filmed quite a while ago. I mean, the video quality was pretty clearly older in this version, but it was 2004 is when this the first version, the first series was done, The Long Way Around. I believe I first heard about it because at the time I was a big fan of American Shopper, which was a Discovery Channel reality TV show about the motorcycle father-son custom motorcycle business called Orange County Choppers out in New York. I loved that show. And one of the episodes must have been the feature when these guys stopped on their route towards the end, which was fun to see it show up at the end of the series. But unlike the first series, if you watched last week's recap of that, and I was talking about how when they started off on their trip of the long way up, how ridiculous the roads were. This season, I completely forgot. I'd watched this one way back in 2004, 2005 time. I don't know if I had finished it, but I remember watching some of these episodes. And let me say that the roads that they travel in the long way around put all of everything to shame in the newest version of the series. This one, they traveled to 20,000 miles, 13 countries. The roads in Kazakhstan were ridiculously horrible. They were just constantly getting bogged down. The bikes that they chose BMWs, and they had packed on so much equipment. I'm actually excited to see the next series, Long Way Down, where they go through Africa, which is the last of the the second of the series, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm watching all of these out of order, but I'm interested to see how much they change doing their second trip, knowing how ridiculous it was having to carry all that weight. Because going through Kazakhstan, their bikes kept getting sucked down into the bog and just constantly falling over, constantly having to get dug out or pushed out of holes. And it was just like just a ridiculous, like the beginning of the series when they're going to test out which bikes they're going to use. They went to BMW and they went on the BMW test course, and knowing how the series ends, like in Kazakhstan and also on their trip on the Road of Bones to Magadan, like it's a joke. It's the off-road course that BMW had set up to show them, how well these bikes can perform off-road. Is like night and day compared to the realities they put these bikes through. But yeah, it was kind of crazy to see how much more difficult this trip was. But also just how awesome it was too, because they were. The beginning of it obviously is all new to them, so they're like seeing all the different stuff that they were given for promotional purposes. They were trying to get their cameraman, who was with them through the most recent season, which I'm blanking on his name at the moment. But the crazy thing with their cameraman was that, they needed a guy who can, obviously operate a camera, who knows how to film stuff, well and understands what they're looking for. But also, they have to go on a motorcycle trip with these guys around the world. So they have to be proficient in riding a motorcycle and willing to go on this huge journey. And when they chose their cameraman, he didn't have his license from whatever country he was from, wasn't recognized in the UK. So he had to get a new license. And then also his passport was too full from previous trips that he had gone on in his own personal and professional life, that he needed to get a passport. And these like days before they were going to start their trip. So it's like they're starting their trip already in kind of the negative, but they had gone so far that it was just like, we're in the process of just fixing problems now. Like we've gone too far. We're not going to try and find another camera guy. We have to just make this work. And somehow they made it work. And it was just, I really enjoy these series because they're examples of what persistence, like for goals that seem, before you start like having big goals and big dreams, seem like it's just too big. Like you can't wrap your head around how much needs to happen to like succeed in your goal. And what you have to do, right? One, persistence. The only way to guarantee failure is to quit. But also taking things moment by moment. There's a documentary that I love that anytime I find myself about to undergo a project or something that is just too big for my brain to wrap around, I think back to this documentary, Touching the Void, where it's about these two ice climbers, and they fall. There's an accident that happens, and one of them gets injured. They get separated. One of them gets injured, and he's broke his leg. He's like just completely broken, and he has to somehow get himself out of the mountains to survive. And it's literally taking moment by moment, like instead of thinking about the fact that he needs to get himself off of this mountain, he breaks it up into super small chunks. It's like, I'm going to crawl myself from here to that rock, 20 feet away. And I'm going to do it in this amount of time. And that's my goal. And then it's just like achieve that goal. Once he gets to the rocks, okay, now I'm going to go to that rock, and just breaking it down moment by moment. And there's been times in my life, whether it's stress, whether it's just, not only just projects, but just mentally, like having a panic attack or having like just tons of depression or anxiety, just surviving each moment, knowing that eventually it's going to get better, but it's so big, so much has to happen before things get better that you can only take things moment by moment and just surviving that moment. It's very similar message, it's very similar thing in this. And there was a moment where Ewan McGregor wanted to quit. And it was mentioned in the most recent series when they're in Kazakhstan in this one, Long Way Round, and the roads are just bullshit. They're going like 12 miles in a day, and Ewan wanted to just leave Kazakhstan, drive back up to Russia where there's actually paved roads, and just continue the trip from there. And right when he was having that thought and called one of his producers, one of the support vehicles flips. Like they get in an accident, and one of the two support vehicles they had rolls, flips, and there's this big accident. So the producer has to hang up with him. And it's just kind of crazy timing that's happened. But then they later have a discussion, and he tells Ewan, it's like, listen, you're going on this adventure to go on this adventure, and if you quit now and you take the easy road, then you're always going to regret, not completing what you set out to do. So he ends up, they end up staying on the path, going through Kazakhstan, and they spend a lot of time in FEMA places where FEMA is at, trying to help kids. In all of this series, it seems like that's a common pit stop where they check out these different FEMA camps and what they're doing. And at one of the FEMA camps in Kazakhstan, he met what will eventually become his adopted daughter, which he never would have met her if he had quit on his journey. They would have missed seeing some amazing things if they had quit. or if they had taken the easy road. And it's one of those things in life where it's like doing the hard thing, even though even though it is hard and it takes longer, it's more fulfilling. It's better. Taking shortcuts is like, even though it's easier, you end up losing. You end up not gaining what you would have if you had done it the right way. And it's just one of those kind of lessons where not only just kind of mentally being able to survive extremely difficult things, but also what those difficult things can bring. They always tend to bring much more than you would expect, than you would get if you had done the shortcut and taken the short route. But yeah, I love it. And also, the biggest way to improve and get better at something, especially for them, was to get rid of stuff. Getting rid of distractions, getting rid of weight, getting rid of stuff that they didn't need. Like, all of these things just kind of hold you back and keep you from doing something. So cutting things out of your life, cutting things out of your physical life, of your mental life, whatever it is, so you can focus on the job at hand, is usually the best way to improve everything. And I loved when they showed up to the OCC out in New York and met up with Paulie and Paul Sr., and it really made me want to go back and rewatch the American Chopper series, but I have no way to do it because I don't have Discovery Channel, and it's only available through Discovery app, which you have to have cable service and you have to have that channel, and it's just a whole bunch of bullshit. But yeah, I loved Long Way Round. Looking forward to watching the second Long Way Down, which for me will be the final of the three. But it's the second in the series, second in the franchise. But yeah, if you have Apple TV Plus, highly recommend checking out the Long Way series. Long Way Round, Long Way Down, Long Way Up, all fun and great kind of metaphors for life. Do you like to read? Do you like Kindles? Do you own a Kindle? Did you get a Kindle for Black Friday, for Christmas, for your birthday, for the holidays, for Hanukkah, for Kwanzaa? Did you get a Kindle for any reason whatsoever? Would you like to get Kindle Unlimited? What's Kindle Unlimited? It's unlimited reading and listening on any device. So you don't even need a Kindle. All you need is to sign up through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Kindle, and sign up for a free trial of Kindle Unlimited and get your read on. Either read with your eyeballs or your ear holes. Either one works when you sign up through my link, inspireddisorder.com/Kindle. Do it now. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!